test me.
And then I'll test her. I'll say, what do you see?
See what you get.
But then what happens?
You're gonna get that back.
But what happens by the end? Once we both compare notes.
You tell me, great work.
Michelle,
you go.
At the end, Michelle has a concise story with a few good bullet points to send to her clients. So like one of her clients' campaigns, I'm trying to go off memory here. One of her clients' campaigns, one video placement was doing better than the other, or she had a really high click-through rate on video in one placement, I forget, but she was able to find those stories and point that out to the client. Okay? I'm always around to help you find those stories if you're not finding a story. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find a story. If it's average, it's average. But it's also the way in which you tell the client it's average. You don't just say, hey, great, you're doing exactly what you should be doing, have a good Friday. Hey, here's data through the first 60 days of the campaign. We're right on par what we're expecting it should be doing. Nothing blowing the waters, but nothing really poorly. If we don't see any changes, I'm going to recommend some tweaks in another 30 days. A little different way than saying, hey, your campaign's average, have a good Friday.
It's not Friday.
When you have that big list of all the different sizes of creatives and all that, and you've got that one that's really sticking out on conversions,
Yep.
does it make sense to put more into that?
If it's
particular
available,
ad?
absolutely. It's a great point of
And
Greg.
then how do you do that?
Man, Greg, it's almost like you saw the next slide said optimizations.
Oh, sorry. Let's see it.
No, good
Perk
segue.
up or see you latte.
Oh, see you latte.
See you latte it is.
So optimizations. Once we're sending clients thoughts and opportunities, tweaks, optimizations are really important to the vitalization of a campaign, especially long term. If you've got a 6-week campaign and they're pushing a sale, kind of is what it is. If you've got a year-long campaign where you're trying to keep engagement up, things are going to have to change. We're going to learn that this platform does better for the client than the other. We're going to learn that this size is doing better than the other. So what are optimizations? They're mid-campaign changes with the goal to improve performance. This goes back to CNA. How's the client going to measure success? If the client's goal is as much website traffic as possible, we need to optimize for, Kim?
Traffic.
What's the 3-letter thing I'm looking for? CTR.
Oh.
We're going to optimize for traffic. We're going to optimize for click-through rate. If they want awareness and they're running video, we're going to optimize maybe for completion rate. And we can measure that and make those adjustments. So how do we do it? Again, what's the client's goal? Once we know that, we can measure and keep ourselves honest against it. Is it performing well? What is it? Is one creative message getting us more of the client's goal than the other creative message? A/B testing is a very powerful thing. What we look at holistically for optimizations, it's a lot of stuff. Creative, size, geography, devices, viewability. There's a lot of things that ad ops can help you with to really nitty-gritty dive into a campaign. Okay?
What is best practice in terms of how often you, if you're into a year-long contract, how often would you want to evaluate for optimization? Is it just ongoing?
So ongoing is the easy answer, but the more accurate answer is you want to be getting your clients reports and takeaways minimum one time a month. If it's an annualized campaign, one time a month gives you enough check-ins to where the client feels that you're doing your job, but also we're letting the data do work for us in that you're looking at it every 30 days. It's like the stock market. Don't look at a stock every 17 minutes. You're going to drive yourself batty. If you look at it once a month to see the trends based on the data, that's when we make educated decisions. Some clients are going to ask for reports weekly because they have some kind of report they have to send. That's fine. We're not going to do optimizations every single week because it's such short segmented data samples. We might be making a decision incorrectly. A month's kind of the best practice, Chris.
Are there any costs associated with doing optimizations more frequently?
There are no
If
costs other than
can
your
there
time.
be?
Sorry?
Is it something else we can upsell?
Sure.
Oh, okay, see, there you go. Just out of thin air.
So if it's an annual thing and after 1 month, you're seeing some things, I mean, is it too early to jump and make some changes after 1 month?
Part of that depends on level of budget too. They're spending $500 a month. You gotta let it aggregate a while. If they're spending 5-10 grand a month and you've got a lot of data to look at, 30 days is not a problem. How you actually do optimizations was a question Greg had. So let's say I see that 300 by 250 is rocking and rolling. We want more of those sizes. That is a note to add ups via ad copy change. Can I run more 300 by 250? If so, how many more can I run? Or you can reach out to me, we'll do the math, and we change those orders effectively and we submit an ad copy change.
So if you've got 3 sizes running, the 3 typical sizes, and the 300 by 250 is doing better, what would be a good mix then if that one's doing better, where you're not going overboard? And
There's not a definitive answer to that. You have to take into consideration budget, any geo-targeting, do we have enough inventory, what's their price point and their CPM, a lot of things.
So you need an answer back.
Need an answer back.
Okay.
But the first decision to say this size is doing much better
Yeah.
is the place to start. All right.
Nelson, because the 300 by 250 is bigger and you typically have more content on it, does that impact performance of the different sizes?
Sometimes, not always.
Okay.
Sometimes the 160 by 600 does really, really well.
Yeah.
But there's just not that much inventory.
Okay. That's on the circular side. We don't have that ad size on wishtv.com.
What does that mean?
But it's called Skyscraper. They do really well because they're next to a lot of content, so they get a lot of screen time. But there's not many sites that support that ad size, to Kim's point.
Shocking.
I wish I could tell you guys that one ad size is always the best. It's just not the case.
Yeah.
There's way too many factors. Some clients' mobile ads do extremely well, some it tanks. It really depends on the audience. I'll give you a good example. We have a campaign running right now for Indiana Hunger Network. They're targeting people who need or who are eligible for WIC, food stamps. Okay, so it's a very specific audience. It's almost exclusively one ad size on mobile because that's where their audience gets their information on the phone. Whereas someone else might not do well with that size at all. There's just so many factors. So paying attention, looking at the data is the key piece here.
Do the adhesion ads tend to do better?
And from a click-through perspective, yeah. Click-through
I
perspective,
always
yeah.
forget about those.
So the adhesion ads are powerful. They can be sold individually on a guaranteed basis, or if your client runs run of site, they do get some inventory in that well. Not a ton, but some. Let's move on to Google Analytics. So I'm going to talk really high level of why Google Analytics is such a powerful tool and how we can use it. And I'm going to show you the very basics of how to access some information for and on behalf of your clients. So, Google Analytics tool is all about value for us.